And last but not least, we need to get a basic materials company for our portfolio. The Alpha Up portfolio is calling for HUN, HUN. Let's take a quick look at where the basic materials have fallen over the last 12 months. And they are in the um, aquamarine blue. It's very bright blue. And pretty, I mean, most of it is towards the front half here. There's only a couple in the back half. And so, again, this tells me that this is a sector that we definitely want to allocate quite a bit of money towards. Yeah, there's only three times in the last 12 months that the basic materials company was at the back half of the portfolio. Most of the better performing portfolios had basic materials either at the very front or at least third, fourth, top half of the portfolio. So our portfolio that we're following is calling for HUN, HUN. Let's take a quick look at the sector overall. Looks like Trox is the sector leading MVP, barely, because it's really kind of spread out amongst these guys. So Trox, and then we see HUN down here with two. As far as the sector leading performer, we have SMG here, and then Trox, and then NEM. I did find out though that this company is not investable for us because the dividend has dropped below 2%. And so NEM also won't be found in any of the um, portfolios here because it's not investable. Now, what happens with this program is that if in fact the dividend does go above 2%, all of a sudden NEM becomes investable. And if it does make its way into any of the portfolios, it will go back over the last almost year and a half and put NEM in any portfolio in which it fits, and that will change all of the results. It'll change all of the portfolios. That is why I will continue to monitor how these portfolios are performing over the course of our fiscal year to decide if we need to change anything or maybe even go after a different portfolio. So far, that's only happened once in the last 10 years. Usually, the portfolio that we start off with is the portfolio that we continue to follow throughout the fiscal year. But again, if changes are needed, we'll definitely do that. And I think this company is one that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on because typically dividend yield decreases as the price increases. And so it's very possible that looking at this performance here, NEM is actually a better performing company. But again, the dividend is just too low for us to invest in right now. All right, let's take a quick look at these companies. I think everything, with the exception of SMG, are new to our basket of stocks. So, really interested to see kind of what's what here. So, Huntsman, they deal in polyurethane. Um, don't know a lot about the industry, but I really get excited about stuff like this because it means that I have the opportunity to learn something about this particular industry, going through those earnings calls, going over the financials and things of that nature. It looks like a lot of this stuff has to do with coatings. I know the word polyurethane, but I don't really know how it's used other than in agriculture. You have polyurethane uh, covers that cover the crops and stuff like that. And so it says here, consumer products, electronics, installation, packaging, coatings, and construction, power generation, footwear, insulation, natural gas transport. So it looks like it's used in just about everything. And it's headquartered in Houston, Texas, which is really cool, founded in 1970. So, this is one of those basic materials that, it's going to be needed no matter what. You have to buy from them. And this is one of the largest, I'm sure, if not in the US. Oh, I'm sorry, if not in the world, definitely in the US. And so I imagine maybe their highest expenditure is probably going to be oil or something like that. So maybe their profits are up and down based on oil prices. I don't know. Okay, Scott's Miracle Grow. Again, this company has been in our basket of stocks a few times over the years. I don't remember if it made it last year, but I've definitely seen it over the years. But it has never really been something that we looked at hard. So this is the first time that we're really getting a chance to even see this. And so we all know Scott's Miracle Grow deals with basically grass, right, and lawn care. I imagine that a lot of this is going to have to do with corporate expenditures, right? Corporate buildings have landscaping and stuff like that that they have to deal with. And Scotts Miracle Pro is probably going to be a big part of that. Of course, there is a retail side of it. I don't know, you know, what percentage of their sales is retail versus corporate, but either way, seems pretty straightforward to me. This one I don't really see as uh, basic material, honestly. I mean, I guess it is like, lawns and lawn care is ubiquitous in American culture. So, maybe but I just think like, if money gets tight, I have to imagine that lawn care can't be like top of the list, right? I mean, kind of hard to figure. Hydroponic indoor gardening applications, maybe the weed industry plays a part in that. I'm not sure. I'd be really curious to go through an earnings call to find out what percentage of their customers are involved in the marijuana industry. All right, Tronics Holdings. This is a new one too. Don't know anything about this company. And I did read this before turning on the recording. Uh, TiO2 pigment. Don't know what that is. Pig iron. I've heard that before. Zircon. I've heard that one before. It looks like it's used in the manufacture of paints. And so I imagine again, this kind of is about building materials. And I imagine that this is going to be also part of maintenance on things like maybe oil rigs or something of that nature, right? Offshore oil rigs where you have to consistently maintain the metals against corrosion and stuff like that. Maybe that's kind of what they're into. I don't know. Titanium tetrachloride sounds like something to do with titanium structures. To be honest with you, I don't know what is made out of titanium, like any large structure. For the most part, I think titanium is usually going to be like um, a smaller part, right? So maybe there's some plain parts that are made with titanium, but definitely not the entire plane. So, I mean, just right away, I think Huntsman is kind of the better pick when it comes to just like basic materials, right? Because this stuff, the polyurethane, is going to be needed no matter what. I mean, there ain't no way that consumer products is going away from plastic anytime soon. Let's take a quick look at performance here. We see year to date for Huntsman, negative 12, year, negative 13, 5 years, negative 3. Not great. Scott's Miracle, year to date, 9, year 30, 5 year, down 31. Go back to Huntsman and look at that 5 year, negative 3 versus negative 30. But more recently, though, seems they've done really well. Tronic, it's the year to date 14, year 11, 5 year 25. So just looking at the performance, it looks like, I mean, Scott's Miracle Grow is what's happening now. Huntsman, maybe the overall is a little better. Um, and this is not doing any math. This is just a simple eye test, right? It looks like Huntsman and Tronics, the recent performance is about the same, but Tronics beats them out overall a 5 year period. So, I think it's fairly straightforward. Recently, Scott's is doing well over a 5 year period. Tronics is beating them out. All right, let's take a look now at the financials. See if we can glean anything from that. All right, so this one is Huntsman, and we're looking at revenue growth, 676, 8, and then a drop off here in 2023. Currently, it's at around 6, which I don't think is going to meet or beat 2022. I don't think it's going to meet or beat 2021. And it looks like it may just make it for 2023, if not beat it. So that's not awesome. What we would rather see is a nice revenue growth over at least the last 3 years. All right, let's look at net income, 1 million, 1 million, and then a big drop off, even larger drop off. And right now, they are actually losing money. So that's not good. And I think maybe that kind of illustrates what the stock price performance has been as well. When you look at the net profit um, growth, it has not been good at all. Look at that again. Scroll up a bit. There we go. Net income. Yeah, I mean, losing money. And then the question becomes, well, why are they losing money, right? Without going too deep into it, um, gross margins look about the same. Um, Operating expenses are about the same. So the only thing that I can see right away is, I mean, the operating income is way down, way down. So it's gotta be, and without doing any math, it's gotta be that the gross profit is way down uh, based on a percentage. So they're spending way more to make the same amount of money over the years, because even the non-operating interest, which is interest on loans and debt, is about the same. There are some small drops here, but not a huge difference. And then other income, we see it was way up here, and then just nothing going on. Makes me curious as to what that other income may have been. Maybe it's a joint venture or something like that that they no longer have. I don't know. Either way, financials don't look so great for Huntsman. All right, let's take a look now at Scott's Miracle Grow, 41, 49, a drop off here at 39, and then 35, and they're currently at 35. So definitely going to meet or beat 2023. Um, Again, we've seen this drop off in a few sectors in 2023, but this one also has a huge drop off in 2022 as well. Let's take a look now at net income, and we see positive income in 2020, doing really well in 2021, and then just has been losing money the last 2 or 3 years. That's not good. It's not good. We don't like to see losing money. All right, let's take a look at Tronics now. 27, 35, 34. Another drop off in 2023. And then currently they are beating 2023, but still a drop off from 2022. And we do see a small drop off in 2022 as well. Taking a look now at net income, and we see it was really good in 2020, huge drop off in 21, back up a bit in 22, and then lost a lot of money in 2023 and still negative I mean, so none of these financials really look good. None of these financials look good. If I have to choose one, I guess it'll have to be, I mean, all these guys are losing money. All these guys are losing money. But I have to say that Tronics is probably just looking at the revenue. Um, I don't know. Let me go back here. This is a huge drop in 22, and if we just give that everyone is going to have a drop in 23. I mean, from a revenue growth, I think Tronics is the better deal, but the net income is just kind of all over the place. I mean, how are you profiting 500 and then lose 300 the next year? That's crazy. Um, Going back and looking at this again, million, then half of that, and then even less than half, and then now you're losing. I mean, I can't I can't say any of these are good. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess Huntsman, just because at least they've been positive. Um, and keep in mind this TTM number is the current number. So that means that they do have a possibility of actually bringing this positive over the next 3 or 4 months. So, I'll give it to Huntsman as far as the financials are concerned. Um, because even here, you see, we have a nice increase from 2020 all the way through 2022. And then, like I said, we're going to give everyone that drop in 2023. And then currently sitting at 59, which is very close to meeting 2023. Um, and if they do bring the net profit positive, that's going to definitely get them. Let's see if I do a little bit of math here. That's going to definitely get, if they bring this positive, even if net income sits at zero, that's going to bring them up to at least meet the 2023 number. Whereas, yeah, they're meeting 2023, they're beating 2023. It's a tough one. Yeah, Tronics with Huntsman, but I think I have to give it to Huntsman. All right, let's take a look now at some surface level numbers here. All right, so we see the dividend. It's not super awesome for either of these guys, about 3%. It's what everyone is doing. This is the purchase price as of July 2023. Hasn't moved around much. God's Miracle Grow is the only one that's actually increased in price over the last year and a half, which let me go back and look at this table here. So Trox is actually decent performer. SMG's performing the best though. So yeah, that makes all the sense. So God's Miracle Grow. All right, let's take a look at the return on assets. Can't really compare that. Cash is something that we always look at. Looks like Huntsman has more cash on hand. Um, and the cash to debt is the best. And so here we see that Tronics has a bit of cash, but cash to debt is not as good. Huntsman has beat by quite a bit. Alpha, give that to Huntsman. And the up moves actually go to Scott's Miracle Grow as well as the down moves, but it's fairly close. It really is with all these guys as far as that's concerned. Beta, Tronics has the better beta. Not sure why that is. Again, Huntsman to me is the more basic of the materials. But being that I don't know a lot about the whole PiO2 pig iron thing, maybe Tronics is even more necessary in our world than what I realized. I don't know. Um, 1 month return again, Tronics um, and Huntsman's kind of right there, really. Volatility, Huntsman has all these guys beat. It is really interesting so far that everything I've seen in the Alpha Up portfolio all have a low volatility score. So that's interesting. This is something that I went back and I double checked. And so SMG has the higher score, but somehow, for whatever reason, Huntsman is still what is being called for on the portfolio. I'm gonna check something here, and hopefully this happens fast. All right, so again, it's weird, but it makes sense. And I haven't gone further into understanding this, but the score here is higher for SMG than it is for Hun. However, the score here, let me blow this up. The score here, which is what the portfolios are based on, Hun actually has the higher score, which also makes sense when you look at the the alpha for Hun versus SMG. There is a huge difference there with SMG being a negative number. So how the score is higher, I don't know. Maybe it's something that I can go in and somehow correct. But again, it doesn't matter because everything is calculated properly based on the portfolio here, which does have Hun with the larger score. So everything's good. So back to it. Volatility and then management score again goes to Hun. And so, you know, I want to just go back and look again. I think when it came to financials, I gave it to Hun, right? Yeah, because we have revenue growth. Everyone took a drop here in 2023. It is negative profit, but again, the year is not done. It's not a hugely negative number, so has a possibility of bringing that positive. Whereas the rest of these guys are just way down. I mean, maybe that changes, but I doubt it. Looks like Tronics is um, has a a less uh, time to go. But again, just looking back, there's a drop in 22 and then a drop in 23. So yeah, I mean, Huntsman kind of just again to me, Huntsman even has the better, we could say story. Now I want to go back to the price performance because that was that was sort of a big deal here. All right, so this is Huntsman, and we got -12, -13, and then -4. Scott's Miracle, positive, positive, and then overall negative. Um, and we do know that Scott's Miracle Grow also has the is a sector leading performer as well. Um, Tronics is literally performing just as well as Huntsman, but overall, it's better. Look at the table again. Yeah, Tronics sector leading MVP. Huntsman was a negative here, and then Scott's Miracle Grow is a positive. Um, so the question now is why is Scott's Miracle Grow all of a sudden just here recently doing so well. When we look at the financials, that is not necessarily the story we see. Let's look at it again, though. So, drop in 2022, drop in 23, not a huge drop. And then I guess we could say it's kind of coming back. But I mean, just negative profit um, for the last 3 years and looking to be negative again this year. Maybe this is one of those like turnaround stories. Maybe uh, they were doing really good in 2020, 2021. Something happened, and now they are starting to get better. And as we can see, I mean, if you look at negative 400, negative 380, negative 250, I mean, it is getting better. Still negative, but it's getting better, right? Um, the revenue growth, I can't say it's really doing better. I mean, it looks like they're definitely going to beat last year, which may be enough, right? It may be enough. Take a look again the the numbers here. Okay, so uh, volatility way up. Beta is not great, but up move, down moves, kind of the same for everyone. Alpha is not great. Guys, Miracle Grow is 60% above their low and 15% below their high. It looks like everyone is, but Scott's Miracle Grow is further up. The only thing that I can figure, and then we see, yeah, it's the only one that is actually done well. So I'm gonna take a look at the last earnings call and just see what this turnaround story may or may not be before making a decision. But I mean, Huntsman does seem to be the more solid choice here. But guys, Miracle Grove may be something interesting there. Kind of curious to see what's going on. Tronics, something I'll keep my eye on, and kind of just see. I mean, it's performing well. The numbers here don't look horrible, um, and you can see the score is about the same. But those financials aren't awesome. So, yeah, I'll take a look at Scott's Miracle Grow. But barring any like really awesome positive news. I think Huntsman is where we want to go. Even though it isn't performing well, we're going to ease into the position. So not quite sure what the program is going to have for us as far as number of shares, but whatever that is, we're definitely going to do only a quarter of that. And if the price falls further, no problem. We'll just do a quarter more, and then we'll continue doing that until we get to 100%. And if we're still down after 100%, we'll come in, we'll actually do a deep dive into the financials and decide whether or not this is where we want to be. In the meantime, I'm certain that we're going to get that 3% dividend while all of this plays out. So I don't think it'll be a horrible decision for us. And again, I really see Huntsman as being more of a basic materials company because this is something that we're going to continue to have, right? Versus Scott's Miracle Grow, which again I think is a cultural thing, right? Where like yeah, lawn care is very prevalent, very prevalent. It's just hard for me to wrap my brain around it being a basic material. You know what I mean? Because lawns aren't necessary. It's like, like whether or not your corporate office has a nice lawn, I don't think means anything. But again, culturally, maybe it does. So that's it.